Welcome to Wealth Well Done. Together, we'll cover a wide range of important topics surrounding money and the impact it has on our lives. From the sophisticated and highly valuable planning techniques of the ultra-wealthy to the commonly underutilized biblical teachings. Together, we'll work to improve our relationship with money and our effectiveness in stewarding it well. Here's your host, Eric Scovill.
Okay, welcome to the 39th episode of the Wealth Well Done podcast, where we lean into the tactical, practical, and spiritual advice to help you do your wealth well done. Last week, we did a replay of an episode that we had recorded with Chuck Day from the International Justice Mission. And Chuck, I shared a story of a potential child trafficking situation that I witnessed and some of the lessons I'm learning through that. And then we did a replay of that episode with Chuck, where he talks about child trafficking and slavery that still happens in the world, and what they are doing with the International Justice Mission, what they're doing, and the impact that they're having to combat that. This week, I was scheduled to do a recording with a pastor friend of mine, and he had some sick children, and so he let me know that he wasn't able to make it. And I asked God this morning, who should I reach out to? Who should come in and do a recording? And immediately, my friend Bango came to mind here. So it is with a great pleasure of mine that I am going to introduce you all to Bango Muzafalu. Bango is in Uganda. He is a wonderful man that I have been getting to know more and more over the last year. And we're going to hear a little bit about his story, about what he is doing with an orphanage in Uganda, as well as an update to help people who are, in America listening to this, to understand more of what life is like outside outside of America here. So, Bango Muzafalu, it's a pleasure and an honor to know you. It's a pleasure and honor to have you on the podcast here. So thank you for joining me on short notice here today.
Okay, I'm really so glad to stream live with you here, and I just feel so blessed to be here, and all the Americans listen to me. My name is Bango Muzafalu, the Director, International Children's Care Ministries in Uganda. You're all welcome.
All right. Okay, so Bango, will you please start by telling me a little bit about your childhood and a little bit of your backstory? Help us to understand who you are as a person.
Oh, okay. As I told you before, my name's Bango Muzafalu, and I'm born of Uganda in a district called Jinja, in a village called Butiki. My parents, we are born three, me, my young brother, and a sister. So when we were growing up, my parents could really take a very good care of us until they died. My mom died of an accident, and my dad died of AIDS. They died at a very young age because they left us when we were still young. They died. By the time they died, I was 12 years old, and I was left to take care of my young siblings. A brother, which was 8, and a sister, which was only 3 years old. So, since then, I tried struggling with life, taking care of my young siblings at a very tender age. But I thank God that I managed to take care. I managed to take a very good care of them till now. That's then recently in 2018, that's when I came up to start up an organization called International Children's Care Ministries with the aim of helping street kids, orphans, hopeless, and disabled, plus those with HIV. Yeah, that's me.
Hmm. Thank you. You are uh, you're an incredible inspiration, and you have such a pure heart. Um, when you reached out to me, I was I was I had my guard up. I didn't know you you seemed pure, but I was very skeptical of someone I didn't know reaching out. As you prayed for me and as we connected, I couldn't I in my heart I felt good about it, but I just wasn't sure. My heart was saying yes, my head was saying, you know, proceed with caution. I don't know, because there are all sorts of people out there who are trying to get money from Americans, and they're using it for bad. There are all sorts of people who are running fake orphanages and using them for, you know, trafficking children. When you I asked you to pray for and so you'd send me prayers, and they would be beautiful prayers. But I always wondered, do you have some online website, because your English is so good? Do you have some website where you were just looking up good prayers and sending them to me, and you didn't come up with those yourself? Because they're beautiful. And then the day that I asked you to pray for my wife, she was struggling with some evil, and I asked you to pray for her, and you just immediately sent me back this incredible prayer, and that was a real confirmation for me of just how genuine you are as a person. Obviously, the Lord is working through you in mighty ways. Will you tell us about how you got to know God, where Jesus came into your life, and how you have grown into the man of God that you are today.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for that question, because that's what I have been waiting for you to ask me. As I was on my way to help my looking for any kind of support to help my young siblings, as I was the elder by then, we spent days without eating. We spent days without home. We spent, let me, I even don't know how I can express it, but it was really so heart touching, and we went through a very hard time by then. But then, because during that time, I used to keep on going to churches asking for support here and there, but there were no pastor or church that refused to give us support.
Mm,
They stood with us, mostly with me, and they gave us support. In that, sometimes we used to sleep in church when we had nowhere to sleep. So when I grew up and when I made 16 years, I started fetching water for people on village so that I can easily get something to feed my siblings, and sometimes so that we can stop sleeping in church, because we used to sleep in every church that we could find. It was the only place that we could find peace, you know.
hmm
So when in that situation, I came to realize that we only have to put our lives in God's hands. As we used to sleep in churches, we could pray throughout the night We couldn't have enough sleep, thinking what we shall we eat tomorrow. But with God's miracle, He helped us to earn a living. And when I started working, I He provided. He provided to me and my siblings, in that I was able to rent a room. It was a small room, but at least it could accommodate me and my siblings. So when I went on renting that room, I came to realize that there are a lot of kids outside there who are struggling like us. And I went for their rescue, because I started with only 3 kids that I rescued from from the street, you know. And I think I told you something before, that I rescued 2 kids at 9 p.m. late night, you know,
Right.
when I was only 14 years, you know.
Right.
So God is in everything, and God is seen in everything that we do. In every situation that you go through, God is always there for you. That's how I came to know God, because of the situation that we're going through. I came to realize that God is always with us, no matter what situation that we go through. He's always there.
Thank you for sharing. I I think so often in America, and we've been talking about this lately. So often in America, we have life so easy. We think it's hard because there's always difficulties. The I right now inside my business, I have a number of difficulties and a number of people needing stuff from me, and I feel stretched beyond my capacity. But at the end of the day, I get in my truck, I drive home. I'm in a nice office here. I drive home to my nice home, to my family where we have lots of food and a warm place. And we have such a comfortable life in America, so many of us, and even the homeless. So the homeless that I, go spend time with every Friday, the homeless in America live a very comfortable, safe life. And so we don't know hardship like you do. And I think that when you look at the faith that you have, and when you look at how God sees you and how God sees, I'm going to say, I'm sorry for everything I say wrong here, because I'm not God. I don't know God's perspective. But when someone from America says they believe in God, but that means they go to church, they go to church once a week and they pray, a little bit during the day. It is a different kind of belief when you are facing the type of challenges that you face and that other people in other parts of the world face compared to here. And I believe that the trust that you have in God is so much stronger than so many of us here, and therefore the relationship you have with God is so much stronger than so many of us have here. And I think it's we look at oh, go ahead, you go.
Yes, on that, me mostly when I was still young, taking care of my siblings, there are times that came through, and I had to go on street, and I started dancing on streets, you know. So when I was still on streets dancing, I started having a calling in me. My heart used to tell me that I have to dance for Jesus.
Mm,
I I used to have that love to dance for Jesus. And when I was always with my friends, I used to tell them that one day, one time, I will be in church dancing for Jesus. That's what I always had in my heart. And that kept me going. I don't know how it came, but let me just call it as a spirit. I just loved it, dancing for Jesus.
That's beautiful. I've just been reading in in the in the story of David. So I've been reading in, I think, Second Samuel right now, and hearing about how, and he just so often David dances for Jesus, and they dance violently for Jesus, and so much that his wife came out and condemned him for it. But that's it. So that dancing for Jesus, that is a beautiful spirit. That, again, that is an intimacy that you have with him. That I think we look at things and say, money, 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 money. You don't have enough money. You've got 32 kids that are in this orphanage and it's, the building you have is smaller than most people's garage in America that they store their cars in, and you've got 32 kids living there. And the we look at that and say, well, how bad it must be for you. And it is tough. But I think
Yeah,
God looks at it and
that
sees how bad it is for us as Americans, because we don't know him like you know him. And I think in a lot of ways we should be envious of you.
yeah. So God, for us, okay, I do believe that God is able. Our God is able. He is capable of everything. No matter what we go through, He is always there for us. Since day one, God has been in our lives. You know, He has always been there. He has always provided for us. Though sometimes there are days that go without having something to eat, you know.
Yep.
But at last, God provides. Because we are here, but the kids are very happy, and I am really so pleased with what I'm doing. It's my pleasure, it's my honor, because I really feel joy to be helping the needy, to be helping the little ones. Still, because me, I started, I got love for children when I was still young. As I told you that I rescued two kids at night. Let me tell you how I found those kids, so that on the extent that I rescued them. As the kids, as me, I love the kids since I was a young kid. When I found those kids at night, it was 9 p.m. I asked them in a joking way, like I told them, "Kids, where are you going?" And they were like, "We are going at our mama's place." One was 3 years old, that was the elder one. Then another one was only 1.5 years, moving at night. So when I asked them, the the elder one knew where their home was. But when I asked them, the elder one told me, and people started gathering. They told me, take the kids to the chairperson, village chairperson, or a village councillor, so that I can leave them there. Others told me, no, this older girl knows where their home is, take them home. So I decided to take them at their home. I carried the young one, and the other one started walking. It was a very long journey to reach at their home, but indeed, the elder one knew where their place was. So when I reached there, I found a padlock on the door. When I asked the neighbors told me that their parents had separated. The father, he's a drunkard, drinks all the night, and sometimes he doesn't come back home. Their mom works at a gas station. So the neighbors advised me to take them to the police. So I moved with the kids to the police, and another neighbor helped me to carry the other girl.
Mm.
We went to the police. The police went on and searched for the parents. Indeed, they found the father when he has already drunk, you know, and the mother came. They said thank you to me, and I gave them their kids. So whenever I remember that day, I say, God, thank you for choosing me in all.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Will you tell us about what life is like in Africa, specifically in Uganda? The so there, Africa has a fast growing youth population, but disease and a lot of fathers not in the homes leads to a tremendous amount of orphans. And Uganda in particular has a ton of orphans. Will you help us understand what is life really like in Uganda?
Oh, at the moment, Uganda is really a struggle with life right now, mostly with the youth, because the number of the youth is very large. Here, this is where you find a lot of youth than old than the young, you know.
Hmm.
But as the population is too high, there are a few jobs. So you find a youth struggling to earn a living, but when he has nowhere to get even a penny. That's why you find me also struggling to get a job so that I can sustain these kids with everything that they need. But sometimes I fail. So, Uganda with life at the moment is really a struggle.
Does the government help you? Does the government give you any money to help give food for the kids or anything?
Sorry?
Does the government give you money to help you feed the kids?
Oh, the government mostly it does help. It does help, but it does with the people that they give the money to bring to the ground, that money doesn't reach to the ground. That's why you see people suffering every day.
Are you saying like
Only only those government workers in the offices are the one who always take that money, and there are other government workers who are also suffering because of the people in big offices.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, um,
Mostly, let me call it corrupt officials,
right,
because Uganda is full of corruption.
right. What are the
Yeah.
churches like in Uganda?
Oh, here in Uganda, churches mostly is termed as a business. You know, even if you go online and you see the churches in Uganda, most of them are doing business. They're not doing God's work.
Okay, okay, um,
Yeah, because one day I had a friend from USA and he told me that what's this happening in Uganda, because he saw a very big pastor in Uganda playing football in a church.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. It, are Christians persecuted there? Is it hard to be a Christian in Uganda?
Sorry?
Is it difficult to be a Christian in Uganda?
To be a Christian?
Yes.
No, it's not difficult to be a Christian in Uganda.
Okay.
Yes, because here in Uganda, most people are likely to do everything that they feel. So if you're Christian, is free and is, let me call it, is God willingly. You're free to do what you want as long as you're doing it in a right way.
Okay.
Yeah. Because me being a Christian, no one has to take that authority from me.
Good. Will you
Yeah.
help us understand what? Tell me about the orphanage. Tell me about the house you have. How you have 32 children now that you take care of. Will you tell us a little bit about the orphanage?
Sorry?
Will you please tell us about the orphanage?
Okay. The orphanage, as I told you, it's called International Children's Care Ministries, and it was registered by the government of Uganda in 2020. So here we do rent where we do sleep, and this is the orphanage where this is one of the rooms for the kids where they do sleep, and one is here. One is here sleeping. I seen him.
Yep, we see him.
Have you seen that one sleeping?
Yes.
You've seen him, eh? Yes, and others are outside, others are still playing, others were having supper. Most of them are having supper, had supper by the time we started this live, and they are still there having a conversation, you know. So, is there anything that you want to know about the orphanage?
Yes. Do the kids go to school?
Oh, some of them that I'm able to pay for their tuition or school fees do go to school, but I would love by the beginning of next year most of them to go to school except the toddlers.
Okay. Who takes care of all of the
Yeah.
kids?
I have an old lady here who always help. She just volunteers.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a volunteer here. Let me go show her to you. So this is one of the rooms where the kids do sleep, as you're saying.
Yep.
Yeah. Abana abato. Mama soka utole kuko ekyo ekigoye kyonna. Utole kuko ekyo ekigoye kyo. Eri bandu balikwenda akubana. Bana mutwaire wanene engaito dange. You've taken my shoes. Hmm? Hey, you're saying hey. Say hey.
Hi, everybody.
Bana waliwo.
Hey.
Atagaba. Ate gundi ata.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
What do you do for work, Bango? How do you make money?
Me, I'm a taxi driver.
And do you make a lot of money with there? Because you have to live, you have to provide for yourself and 32 kids plus a caretaker. How how much extra do you? How much
Sorry?
how much extra money do you have from your taxi driving to help pay for the orphanage?
Oh, it's not all that much. As I don't have a guarantee that every day I will be working, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. So sometimes if God provides, I get 100,000 in a month, 200,000, like that.
And how much?
Ugandan
Yeah.
money.
What is that in U.S. dollars?
That's 50, between 50 and $30.
Okay, yeah. Ugandan shilling is $26.39. Okay.
Yes.
So that's what
Yeah.
you make a month from a taxi driving standpoint?
Yes, cause even the taxi that I drive isn't mine, it's for my boss.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your vision? What are you trying to where are you trying to take this in the future? How do you want to continue to serve, and how do people come alongside you and help you?
I would love, or my dreams are to to build a school, a hospital, and a very good home for the children, like an orphanage home, uh, as long as God helps me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If someone wants to if anyone listening would like to learn more about Bango, would like to learn more about um, my relationship with him, and you want to open up to look at partnering with him, please reach out to me directly here. You can reach me from email at eric@storehouseassets.com, or reach us on any of our platforms. But I'm happy to share with you all about my conversations with Bango, my relationship with him, the way that I'm partnering with him as well. And so uh, Bango, I appreciate you taking the time to do this. I appreciate more than that. I appreciate the love that you have for Jesus, and the love that you have for the children, and the calling that He's put on your heart. You're being very selfless, because you could easily turn your back and just focus on yourself, because life is hard enough on our own. Um, but the fact that you're willing to try to take care of so many other people, and make that your life's calling is beautiful. It's honorable, and I look up to you in a lot of ways. So thank you.
Welcome, my dear brother, but it's all by the glory and mercy of our Lord Jesus Christ that I am able to do all this, because without Him I could not go anywhere. I could not go any further with this.
Yes,
Even I could not find you if it was not God. But I just pray to Him and honor Him for having met you and for having called me in this. I also thank you so much for all the love, support, honor, and everything that you've done for us. May God bless you to the fullest.
thank you, brother. Okay, to listeners, we appreciate you. I again, I hope that this isn't just a plot to try to get you to give money here. It's a way to continue to open our eyes, as Nathan Rickner and I talked a little bit before about this comfortable Western Christian life that we have, and how that is not what the Bible describes. And so, as we open our eyes to what else is going on in the world, it should change our perspective. So I hope that you're able to grab something from this, and we will see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Thank you again for listening to Wealth Well Done. Be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast player, and together we'll continue to improve our relationship with money and our effectiveness in stewarding it well.